Hello and welcome to News Across Nigeria. I'm Emana Amawe. Coming up on the program today. ECOWAS court awards 88 billion naira in damages against the federal government. It's just a few weeks to the launch of the Cross River State Smart City project. And we take a look at the agricultural sectors in Kwara and Anambra states. Many thanks for staying with us and welcome to the program that brings you news from the length and breadth of Nigeria. The ECOWAS Community Court of Justice has awarded 88 billion naira in damages against the federal government for its failure to clear landmines and remains of explosives in the aftermath of the civil war in the southeastern part of the country. In a consent judgment delivered by Justice Chioke Nwoke, the court ordered the federal government to commence clearing and evacuation of the aftermath of the civil war within 45 days. Hundreds of mine victims of the war had dragged the federal government before the ECOWAS court in 2012, asking for an order for the removal of remnants of war instruments stockpiled in 11 states of the southeast, the south-south, and parts of the north-central.
They started the work and stopped midway to clear southeast and south and parts of north-central of contaminations of the Nigerian Civil War, and of course, pay compensation. The matter was filed in the year 2012, and we've been in court since that time. Parties were almost going into the area, but along the line, we thought it wise that as a result of that, out of court in the interest of people affected as a result of the civil war that lasted between 1967 and 1970. And we are very happy today that at least we've been able to resolve the matter effectively, and the terms of settlement filed on the 26th of October have not been adopted, which will not be consent judgment of the courts.
In the meantime, the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos has fixed November the 1st to rule on an application filed by the former Minister of Petroleum Resources, Mrs. Diezani Alison Madueke, asking it to compel the Attorney General of the Federation to bring her back to Nigeria to defend a criminal charge bordering on alleged money laundering of 450 million naira. Justice Ruwan Aikawa fixed the date after listening to objections filed by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to the move. In opposing the application, the EFCC argued that the application is an abuse of the process of court. They further contended that the procedure for bringing a defendant who is outside Nigeria before the court is a process which has not been instigated by the relevant authorities in this case. As such, Mrs. Diezani's application to be brought back to Nigeria to defend herself cannot be a substitute for the extradition order, especially as the court cannot make an order against the government of the United Kingdom. Mrs. Diezani had filed an application asking to appear in court in Nigeria to defend herself in the charges made by the EFCC against a senior advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Dele Belgore, and a former Minister of National Planning, Professor Abubakar Suleiman. And a former chairman of the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital Cooperative Society, Kennedy Oriaki, who's being charged for money laundering, will get to know tomorrow if he'll be free on bail. The Federal High Court sitting in Benin City, the Edo State capital, will hear the bail application before the commencement of trial in December. Anti-graft agency, the EFCC, and is pushing a 5-count money laundering charge against Mr. Oriaka, a crime alleged to have been committed in 2015.
The day's session is about to begin at the Federal High Court sitting in Benin City, the Edo State capital. Among the cases to be heard is the alleged money laundering charge against the former chairman of the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital Benin Multipurpose Cooperative Society, Kennedy Oriaki, filed by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. The FCC has brought forward a 5-count charge of fraud amounting to 13.3 million naira against Mr. Oriaki during his tenure as the cooperative boss. The accused person denies the charge. Ruling on the Defense Counsel's bail application, Justice P.I. Ajoko fixed October 31, 2017 as date for hearing and December 4, 2017 for trial. The counsel to the defendant, Ovensei Otamere, criticizes the prosecution for the sitting's outcome.
We had to work throughout the night to ensure that his bail application was prepared and filed, and it was already before his lordship. So, well, the prosecuting counsel complained that he needed time to respond. So as far as we are concerned, if that proof of evidence has been served on us timelessly, issues would have been joined and the bail application would have been right for hearing today.
The Cooperative Society's lawyer, Wilson Ibazube, says the court process is on course.
Defendant has been arraigned before court today and he has taken plea. And the matter has been adjourned subsequently for trial court. So we are relying on courts because we know that justice will definitely prevail.
The court ordered that the defendant, Kennedy Oriahi, be remanded in custody till the next sitting.
And away from the courts, there are expectations that the days of bloody clashes between farmers in Benue State and Fulani herdsmen may be over. This follows the endorsement by the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of the law banning open grazing, which comes into force from November the 1st. The special report examines the long-running crisis that necessitated the law and the problems it is expected to address.
Minor skirmishes between farmers and pastoralists as a result of cattle allegedly straying into farms and destroying crops were pretty commonplace. However, from November 2011, the conflict assumed a deadly dimension when invading herdsmen armed with sophisticated firearms began sacking farming communities in order to gain unhindered access to grazing land. The sheer horror of herdsmen invasions in the Benue Valley drew global attention in February 2016 when they launched a full-scale attack on Agatu local council area in a 6-week blitz, leaving over 5,000 persons dead. Benue farmers and indigents took to the streets demanding the ban on open grazing, a call promptly heeded by the State House of Assembly, which passed the bill into law. In May 2017, Governor Samuel Otom signed the Open Grazing Prohibition and Ranches Establishment Bill into law. But a faction of the Fulani leadership, the Miyetti Allah Kautahore, kicked against it. In various newspaper publications, they allegedly threatened war on the people of Benue State. Amid the specter of a looming conflict, dialogue between the various stakeholders, including the joint Benue socio-cultural groups and leaders of herdsmen in the state, prevailed.
If you don't implement, the common man will implement this law because of the benefit of the common man. This law has been implemented immediately. The only room we may dig in before we go and implement it is that if we want to implement it in phases, therefore we can't give you the order.
Ideally, the law took effect from May. But we say, no, this is a new program. This is a new thing coming up. So let us allow some time. Even those who want to relocate to other places where they can do grazing, they will need time to prepare before going. In our own wisdom, that was why we had to drag this thing from May to November.
Governor Samuel Otom finally secured the support of the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association.
Now that we have realized that His Excellency is trying to come up with a law in good faith, before, people suspect that maybe His Excellency wanted to push away all the Fulanis out of Benue. But it is abundantly clear now that all what His Excellency is after is to have a law that can solve the problem of this conflict that we have been having in Benue and other parts of the country.
Hopefully, the latest endorsement by the leadership of the Cattle Breeders Association is probably the first indication that peace may finally be restored to the Benue Valley.
Still ahead on the program, residents of Calabar, the Cross River State capital, may soon begin to enjoy 24 hours internet service. Details in a moment.